I'm back with another book haul. Well, not another, because I haven't actually done one in the first place. But yesterday, I went up to a place called Singleton, which is about an hour from where I live, so I could buy this camera, this nice Canon 30D. But while I was up there, I hit some op shops and some bookshops. So the bookshop had like 2 shop fronts as part of it, and they needed to offload a lot of stock so they could fill up just the one space, because the other shop front has been leased out to somebody else. So I was really lucky. I got heaps of really good books for cheap. I'm going to show you through some of them. This is The Lives of John Lennon. I think it's just pretty much a biography from the late 80s, written by Albert Goldman. His name doesn't really mean anything to me. I don't know much about the book particularly, but it's about John Lennon, so that should be good at least. Next up is another oldie. This is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. So only novel. This is a pretty old copy of it too. Sylvia Plath is known more for her death than for her life, which is a bit of a shame because she's written some great poetry and some great literature. I've never actually read this book, even though I studied her in high school, so I'm really keen to get in and, see what it's actually about. I just read the whole thing right now, see? Yeah, good. 5 out of 5. Next up is The Essential Clive Barker. Clive Barker was the guy who invented the Hellraiser franchise. He's really cool. I'm sure this book is really cool too. It has a couple of different stories of his in it. I think he sort of writes along that more sci-fi, horror, fantasy sort of element in his stories as well, which I'm excited about in a Stephen King kind of way. It's like a little ball patch right here. It's great, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. These are Buffy the Vampire Slayer novels. This is to do with Angel, who's this guy right here. That's a good finger to show who he is, because he sucks, and I don't like him, even though he's a pretty boy. But not my kind of pretty boy. Sarah Michelle Gellar is my kind of pretty boy. Pretty... Blah. Anyway, it's cool. These are based on some episodes from season 2 of the TV show, and I love Buffy so much. I'm up to the start of season 5 now, and I'm going to read these at some point, probably just some light afternoon reading, and hopefully enjoy them, even if the writing style is absolutely dreadful. This is The Mummy by Anne Rice. I hear a lot about her on BookTube, but I don't really know much about her. Apparently she's a really famous horror author. Maybe I should have done my research. But this is, The Mummy, the kind of the classic Universal monster story. I'm really into that sort of Frankenstein, Dracula kind of thing, and The Mummy really fits in there too. Also, interesting to note, in that kind of canon of things, with The Invisible Man, the new movie coming out soon, I have got the book there by H.G. Wells, but I haven't read it. I probably won't go and see the movie because it looks a bit distressing. And last in this section is On the Road by Jack Kerouac, that kind of beat poetry, 50s, 60s stuff. I read the first few pages of this last night and I absolutely loved it already. So I think I'm probably going to just bite the bullet and start reading it really soon. It's a penguin. Penguins you can't go wrong with. Penguins are great, both the books and the animals. I just keep flicking through these trying to think that I'm going to consume some knowledge or something. Hi. So another thing that was great about this shop is they had so many Stephen King books. And by so many, I mean actually so many. And I already have 30 Stephen King books, so I didn't want to buy too many. But they were very, very cheap, especially at half price, so I bought a fair few. God, where do I start? I'll start with this one. This is Under the Dome. It's very, very big. And probably not as big as It, which is a plus. This is only 877 pages. Which is still quite large compared to the usual 200 pages that I love. But I'm excited to read this at some point because I watched the TV show when I was 13 when it came out, and I really enjoyed it. Next up is 4 Past Midnight. This is another one of the short story collections. It's got I think it's pronounced the Langoliers or the Langoliers in it, which is a really interesting concept to me about people that fly. I think they fly on a plane and they end up time traveling or something like that. That really interests me. And there's a couple of other stories or novellas in that. I got another copy of Christine because this is a beautiful hardcover that only cost me $3. And I love Christine. It's probably my favourite Stephen King book aside from maybe Cujo or The Shining, if that. And it's got this great picture of Steve himself on the back. Fantastic. I hope I'm that beautiful one day. But yeah, I couldn't help but get another copy just because it was so beautiful and so cheap. Dead Zone. This one was made into a movie in the early 80s with Christopher Walken. I've seen a few trailers for the movie. I think I have the DVD somewhere, but I haven't watched it yet. Because I was always wanting to read these. There was a hardcover of it at the shop for a few dollars more, but I decided just to get the paperback because I tend to prefer paperbacks. But it's the same edition as my copy of Different Seasons, which has The Stand and... Not The Stand, Stand By Me, idiot. It's called The Body, not The Stand. The last couple I've got... not so much books, but short story collections. This is Everything's Eventual. I don't know much about that. I'm not hips keen on it, but I thought I'd get it because it was like $2. These two, on the other hand, I'm very excited about. These are from the early 80s that he put these out. This is Night Shift and Skeleton Crew. They both have some really cool short stories in them. I've already read a few of the stories from Night Shift. A few of them have been made into movies like Graveyard Shift and Trucks. Trucks became the film Maximum Overdrive that Stephen King himself directed. There's also Children of the Corn, The Lawnmower Man. I know in Skeleton Crew it has The Mist, which has been made into a movie a few times. Can't say I know any of the other ones, but that's more of a, there's more horror sort of stuff in this one, whereas the other one's a little bit more lighthearted, I hear. Either way, I'm still excited about that, and I got all these Stephen King books and everything else for like 20, oh, there goes John Lennon. I got all them and more for less than $25. So I'm pretty happy with all of that. While I was up there in Singleton, I got some videotapes from an op shop too, so I'm going to do another video detailing the videotapes. See you later. See you there. See you in the future. In the past. If you're watching this in the future. No. Okay.